So, welcome back to my channel, Fiction Star. I hope you have enjoying my video, so let's begin to the new series. The series name is What If Naruto Fall in Love with KONEKO TOJO. So this is the first part of the series. So, do not wasting any time, let's begin to the video. If you like the video then subscribe to my channel, and like the video. Ko Academy. To maximum of humanity except to pick out few. It is just a regular faculty that was once an all-ladies school before it currently became co-ed for both genders. However, to races of mythology and fairy memories like yokai, vampires, gods, angels, devils, fallen angels recognize it is something but normal. The academy and metropolis are each ruled with the aid of influential Satan families. The one's two families being the Citri and Gremry of the 72 pillars of Satan's society. But our awareness is not on them. No, it's miles on the two college students on foot from the primary school building to their club constructing, which used to be the vintage school constructing. The primary is a lady at a height of 4'6" with white hair and hazel gold eyes. She is what people could call a lowly due to her peak and petite frame. This young girl name is KONEKO TOJO, who is what people call the college mascot. She's a 1SD 12 months pupil. 16 years old, and she is wearing the Ko Academy women uniform that's a white long-sleeved, button-down blouse with vertical linings, a black ribbon on the collar with a matching button-down corset, and a magenta skirt with white accessory and a shoulder cape that she does not wear. The second man or woman is a male of a peak of 6 foot, and could be what human beings take into account an Adonis. He has hazel gold eyes similar to his shorter companion, but his hair isn't like the short girl. The left one half of his hair is white as snow like KONEKO's is at the same time as the right one half of his hair is as black because the sky at night. He has an athletic build, not too cumbersome and now not too thin, the ideal and among which every female can wholeheartedly agree on, even his partner, not that she might ever admit it out loud. He's carrying the Ko Academy boys uniform that's a black blazer with white accents over a white lengthy sleeved button-down blouse with vertical linings, a black ribbon on the collar, matching black pants and brown dress shoes. This guy's call is Naruto TOJO, a 16-12 months vintage, first-year student at Ko Academy, and the twin brother of KONEKO TOJO. Right now they're conversing whilst heading to the vacation spot that they realize the secrets and techniques of. I critically am going to burn this location to the floor, motive of all of the harm it does to my brain, Naruto said, even as evident again on the building they were strolling far away from for the day. And that I let you know every time in return that I take your ramen and burn it until not even ashes continue to be of it in case you do that, KONEKO stated with a monotone voice as she seems ahead while sneaking glances at her brother's body. Something which he noticed but determined now not to mention something approximately it or do anything to allow her know he saw. You usually say that, however in no way accomplished whatever to my ramen earlier than, so why ought to I suppose you may do something now, he stated even as he became his head slightly down to the left to observe her and see her reaction. But, in case you do burn down the college, not handiest will Riaspucho punish you, but so will Sona or even Akino will want to enroll in too, KONEKO said with a faint smirk. Despite the fact that KONEKO does not display any emotion in the presence of others, she can constantly display more emotions together with her brother, reason she trusts and loves him greater than whatever in the international. Even messing with him is amusing, especially seeing his reaction to what she stated proper now makes her need to snigger as quickly as Naruto heard that closing part. He got deathly pale, and stood completely nonetheless. He still recollects his first time meeting the Priestess of Thunder. It was while he and his duel became located into Rias Gremry Peerage after a horrible incident. While he and his sister were delivered to her residence, the moment Akino noticed him she became attempting everything to get him. Regardless of where he went to that day, she might find him and try to do positive things with him. But nothing scared him except the look on her face and in her eyes. It became a look that reminded him of a certain scary snake mistress that desired to tease and torture the whole thing she should discover just for an amazing snort. Then he received a depressed appearance on his face as he starts off evolved to remember human beings, locations, and activities that appear to be they had been centuries in the past. KONEKO noticed her brother move deathly pale and still, and she changed into approximately to begin giggling out loud until on the last second, she noticed her brother won a depressed appearance. She failed to suggest for that line to make her brother depressed, so she immediately grabs him and hugs him tight to banish those thoughts of his. I am sorry, Nisan, I failed to suggest to make you disappointed, please forgive me, she stated while trying to hug him the first class that she could do. Thank you, Amuto. However, it's now not your fault. I used to be just remembering a few matters that I shouldn't have, he stated with a smile full of love and lifestyles directed to her. It's high quality. However, you were considering her, were not you? Kaneko stated with a blush before it disappeared, and he or she spat the phrase out, find it irresistible, become venom. Naruto knew he and his duel had been near, and that they knew every unmarried factor approximately, each different. But she and all people else besides one individual don't know whatever about his past lifestyles as Naruto Uzumaki, or that he had a past life before this one at all. And he changed into going to do his best to ensure it stayed that manner, at least until the time become right to return clean to they all. Yes, it was Amuto, but do not worry, I'm fine now, see? He said with a smile full of happiness. Mentally, however, he was hoping past wish that she offered his lie, even though he hates lying to Kaneko, but he knew she will be able to recognize the reality one day. However, no longer these days. Kaneko checked out him with calculating look for what regarded for hours but were best seconds inside the actual world. While Naruto felt he changed into approximately to crack, Kaneko stopped her action and took a step returned. Adequate. Nisan, however, please, if something is ever wrong, do not hesitate to inform me, because in case you ever need me, I'm here, she stated with a monotone voice that has a bit of love you could hear and a faint smile on her face. Naruto smiled at this, an idea how lucky he become to have a loving sister like Kaneko. But he's gonna get her lower back for that remark. Purpose no one messes with him, and receives away with it. Direction Amuto-chan, and in case you ever want me, just do not forget, I'm constantly here for you, my Snow Nico, he whispers huskily in her ear at the same time as preserving her waist. A smirk then appears on his face as he sees her reaction. Kaneko was blushing up a hurricane at the same time as feeling feelings like embarrassment, shyness, comfort, happiness. However, the two that stood out had been exhilaration and lust. Pleasure for evolving this case greater, and lust for wanting to take him back to her condominium, and have him screw her so hard she cannot stroll for a week. However, earlier than she ought to think any more on those thoughts, she found out they have been already in the front of the vintage college building. The clubhouse is a three-tailed building, with the third floor serving as a clock tower. It has a white coloration scheme and a black roof with vines creeping as much as the second one tail. Naruto additionally sees they've arrived, so he makes a decision to stop teasing his sister and rather stroll into the constructing and head to the principal room like they have got executed so usually earlier then. Once they input, they see Victorian fashion couches and chairs along the partitions, even as on one aspect what appears to be a bath setup that was currently being used, in all likelihood with the aid of Rias. Additionally, they note an abnormal circle at the floor that is without a doubt the Gremory circle of relatives' crest that permits for transportation. Right now they may be the most effective ones in the room, while they recognize Rias is getting showered and Akino is most probably making some tea. Even as each person is doing their own thing, Naruto and Kaneko decide to move over to the sofa and take their standard spot while also grabbing some sweet to devour. Even though Naruto nonetheless loves ramen, and will say it is the food of the gods like usually, even if he receives a headache from mentioning the large man upstairs call. But he will admit that sweet is proper up there with ramen, however in no way may be higher than it. But earlier than he can get too comfortable, the door opens up and exhibits Kiba Yuto, a 2D-er. Kiba is a younger guy at a top of 5'7" with brief blonde hair and blue eyes, while he has a mole under his left eye. Like Naruto, even though he's carrying the Ko Academy boys' uniform. Hi, there Naruto. Kaneko, how was your day and lessons? Kiba requested at the same time as having his friendly smile on his face that each one of his fangirls love. Hi, there Kiba, and it was hell like continually. Makes me need to damage all faculties inside the world so no one brain has to suffer like mine, Naruto replied whilst munching on his white chocolate sweet bar. Maybe in case you attempted to study as opposed to pranking the trainer all of the time, it might be smooth for you, Nisan, Kaneko stated whilst nibbling on her cat-fashioned cookie. Meh, it's now not like we can be using most of the stuff we research while we graduate. Besides, you gotta admit that prank changed into funny as hell. Naruto stated while waving his "and I don't care" manner earlier than he beginning chuckling a bit closer to the end. Was the chook essential on the quit though? Kaneko asks while searching at Naruto from the nook of her eyes at the same time as she grabs a Snickers bar to start consuming. Maybe, or maybe no longer, but it did work out even higher than I had planned out, Naruto replies. He got taken to the health facility with the aid of the paramedics, Kaneko says with a deadpan expression on her face. He'll be best. Maximum likely, Naruto answered with reality at the beginning until he's starting to reflect on consideration on it, and surprise in his mind if Irika 2.0 might make a full healing or not. Kaneko just let loose a sigh and returned to consuming her part of the sweet, already knowing her brother it was of the maximum if now not the maximum stubborn character accessible when he wants to be, and which you were losing your breath most of the time while speaking to him about his pranks. No person knows where he got his pranking streak from or how it started, but they might all agree on one aspect. If you're Naruto's next target, then you definitely already doomed. Even Surzex changed into a sufferer at one point in time, and now he's forever scarred with the aid of dancing monkeys wearing sombreros and gambling the trumpet. However, then before all people else should speak, the bathe stops and out walks Rias Gremory, who is drying her hair with a towel at the same time as wearing the Ko Academy lady's uniform. Rias is a stunning younger girl at a height of 5 feet 8 inches with white skin, blue-green eyes, and a very buxom determined. But her most specific trait is her red hair that reaches to her thighs with a single strand protruding from the top of her head. She makes her manner over to the table in the room and take a seat downs. On the equal time, Akino walks out of the kitchen retaining a tray with cups of tea for absolutely everyone and distributes them out before taking her region proper subsequent to Rias. Excellent afternoon, everybody. Now it's you're all right here, we will start this meeting, Rias says with a grin on her face before she adopts an extreme expression. Who's the fool that wishes to be overwhelmed senseless this time? Naruto asks from his spot on the couch. Firstly, no one goes to get beaten mindless, Rias answered even as Naruto simply pouts. Second, we have information that fallen angels have taken up residence on the town, and they're focused on Issei Hayate. Why the pervert? No offense, however, we need to simply let him die, Naruto says with hate. The motive why he hates Issei and his friends who are referred to as the perverted trio is because they were spying at the ladies' locker room in the future whilst Kaneko became inner. Shall we just announcing they were given a beating? They'll in no way neglect motive. Naruto could be very defensive of his dual sister. Because I consider Issei Hayate has a sacred equipment, likely one of the Longinus, Rias replies with the maximum critical and face she may want to muster. What do you need us to do, Bucho? Kiba asks before Naruto should say whatever greater approximately his hate for the man. The fallen angel, whose name we only know as Yuma Amano, requested ICI on a date, and he agreed. The date will be day after today. I want everybody to observe them, and perhaps if matters go according to devise I will get a new piece to my peerage and every other man or woman to help me address him. The cutoff date is getting closer. I just desire we are able to beat that silly chicken for desirable, and soon. Don't worry, Rias, we are here for you, Akino stated even as resting a hand on her king's shoulder to assist ease her thoughts. Rias seems around and sees every person with determination, but Naruto though had a bit trouble that she will be able to see. She knows why, although reason Naruto in no way did like getting innocent people hurt, and or killed although he hates them, it is just how he is. He does his best to defend his friends and circle of relatives and ensure they're glad. However, two things he does not like is dragging innocents into a struggle and killing. He's going to kill if he has to but prefers not to kill. It's always how Naruto been. He has a coronary heart of gold that might make even angels look evil. Rias is fortunate to have a person who she considers as a little brother. Thanks, absolutely everyone. Now hold to do your everyday obligations for the day and let's desire we get a new addition to our family, okay? Yes, ma'am, anyone answered earlier than going their personal ways for their duties for the day. Time passed. If the institution could determine on one word to apply for this date they have been looking, then it'd be dull. To people, it is a nice and exciting date. This is definitely amusing, but to the supernatural, it's so bland that it's no longer humorous. The date started out off with them meeting up at the mall before they walked to a eating place to get something to eat. Then after they finished their food, They left, and headed to an arcade in which I receive the fallen and conceal a prize, after which they have been walking through the park. Happily no person turned into right here to interrupt must the worst come to worst. Because of the space, even though they couldn't pay attention anything that the two was speaking. But then the fallen is shrouded in a white glow till it dies down, and exhibits her real form. Her shape is a younger girl with violet eyes together with having a slim frame. She has lengthy black hair that reaches to her hips with black feathered wings. Her new apparel consists of black leather-based straps around and beneath her breast, a thong held round her hips by using 3 skinny leather straps, gloves that ran up and protected her entire arm, and black thigh-high heel boots. The fallen angel then threw a mild spear at her date to kill him. However, being who he is, he doesn't be aware the mild spear till went through him, because he turned into observing her body, and not strolling like an idiot. He gasped, after which falls down even as clutching the spear of light, and attempting something to stay alive. Yuma how cough how may want to you? Issei asks while laying at the ground dropping blood and fast. Firstly, my name is Rainer, and second, it is because you have been a hazard that we had to get rid of you earlier than you became too robust. The now identified Rainer said with an evil smirk on her face. But you have been my first girlfriend. I used to be going to treasure you for all time. I cherished you. Cough, Issei said before coughing out masses of blood. Ah ha ha ha. Of course, you will say that to the primary girl who spared you something aside from a beat-down or hurtful phrases. Nicely, too awful for you. I do not love you and in no way will. I imply significantly what woman would ask you on a date, you useless pervert. No girl will ever love you because you're just an abomination in our eyes. Rainer walks up to Issei and grabs the light spear. However, in case you need a person guilty, then blame God for providing you with a sacred equipment in the first place, she says, after which rips the spear of light out of him earlier than flapping her wings and then flying off into the distance. The hidden organization of 5 then make their way over to the now useless Issei to resurrect him. However, whilst that is happening, Naruto is having hassle staying awake and to not go to sleep on his foot high. There, Rias, I am going to return to my rental. I'm feeling without a doubt tired, okay? See ya. Naruto says, then walks away without waiting to listen her or everybody else's response. Now that he became taking walks home alone, he can eventually think a chunk better. He does not know why, but he continues having those nightmares from terrible moments FN his beyond existence. The nightmares come to head away when the whole thing is satisfactory, but while something awful is gonna occur, and soon he begins to get the nightmares of stuff from every other life. You realize I'm here for you. I continually had been and usually may be package. A deep voice said that was in Naruto's head. Thanks, but I severely do not know what I'd have finished without you to help manual me and help me with this 2D risk. I said it before and I will say it again, thank you Kurama. You would probably be doing something silly like the idiotic brat you are, hee. But you're welcome package. Kurama stated before chuckling at his personal comment. Probably something that might have gotten me in problem understanding my good fortune. However, thanks to you I am sincerely smarter and wiser than inside the past. Naruto responded to his hairy tenant, whilst having a smile on his face, recounting all the times his good fortune saved him and harmed him. They have to deliver me an award for purchasing you to start the use of that tiny brain of yours. I'd be called a genius for doing the not possible, ha ha ha. Kurama said earlier, then he erupted into laughter. My mind isn't always tiny, and not like you. As a minimum I have a brain, you rattling outsized fox plushie toy. Naruto responds while a tick-marked bureaucracy on his head. No, I do not have a brain, but I'm virtually smarter than you. Reason I did train you how to use your brain. So what does that say approximately, you kid? Kurama spoke back whilst resting in the mindscape with a smirk on his face. Naruto attempts to think of something to say, however then realized he fell into his exceptional friend's lure, so he does what absolutely everyone might do in this example. He cuts the connection so he doesn't ought to pay attention to his QB tenant, and now dig himself into greater of a hollow. Whilst he cuts the relationship, he finally realizes he's standing in front of his twin and his condo complicated. So he begins strolling to his destination, that being his room, where he has a relaxed mattress anticipating him and some scrumptious ramen equipped to be cooked. He finally sees his condominium door, he reaches into his pocket and pull out the important thing and opens up the door. His condominium is a fairly first-rate size, enough for approximately 3 humans to live here. The partitions are black and white while the flooring are wood. He takes off his shoes and places them with the aid of the door, then he walks into the kitchen, which is mild length with chrome steel counters, with mahogany desk and chairs. He then proceeds to seize himself some ramen he had ready. He prepares the ramen in 2 minutes, and then places it into the microwave to cook at the same time as he goes to take a shower after a protracted day. 10 minutes later he comes out carrying a few black shorts with an orange stripe on the sides. Yup, not anything ought to get him to ever ditch the first-rate color ever, despite the fact that he would put on simply sufficient to not stand out. He walks into the kitchen and takes hold of his ramen from the microwave, after which starts to eat whilst thinking about anybody from his beyond life. Did Sasuke eventually get that stick out of his ass? Nah, in all likelihood. Now, not understanding how Sasuke become it appears not possible. Are the novices doing adequate? Did Sakura ever get collectively with the team? But earlier than he can suppose anymore, he realized he finished his ramen, so he places the bowl in the sink, after which walks to his room, however stops all feelings of sleep being update with caution due to the fact his bedroom door is open, and he knows for certain he closed it this morning before he left for college. He quick gathers Senjutsu at the same time as he creates a Rasengan in his hand and walks cautiously to the door, being prepared for anything. He then appears into his room and sees the whole thing is how he left it. He then scanned the room and saw that each one of his belongings were best, so he turns round to shut the door, questioning that he is just being paranoid. However, whilst he turns around after he closes the door, someone smashes their lips on his and begins to kiss him. He immediately recognizes whose lips it become and began to kiss, returned with a lot extra love and lust than the owner. Ultimately, Naruto slipped his tongue in her mouth, even as grabbing her waist and pulling her closer, feeling her sizable chest pressed against him. He hears her moan at the same time as their tongues are wrestling for dominance until he sooner or later wins and explores it all. They continue until the need for air became undeniable, so they broke the kiss, and just held every different. It is so suitable to look you again, Naruto says till he opens his eyes and appears into eyes that have been exactly the same color as his personal. Besides, those eyes shone with playfulness and teasing for most of the time, but proper now they held love, life, happiness, care, and lust. Ain't it, Kurokane? Shifting on would not suggest you have to forget about matters. It just manner you have to be given what befell and maintain on residing Urza scarlet peace. There are many matters that make us sense at peace, like there may be no hassle round us, that there are not any troubles within the international around whilst you are feeling this manner. It's miles like all the terrible is gone, or that you subsequently see the mild on the give up of a very lengthy darkish tunnel. For Naruto, even though the only issue, or ought to I say the person that offers him this feeling, is his large sister on this new existence, Kuroka is broadly speaking at least a pair of things to him in his coronary heart. His idol, huge sister, sensei, but the maximum crucial one is that she is his lover. Whilst Naruto become reborn together with his recollections intact from his beyond lifestyles, he turned into considered a prodigy. By using his big sister for a way speedy, his training turned into progressing. Even his chakra reserves have been larger than her personal when he became simplest 7 years vintage. However, even though he had the memories from his beyond life, he needed to work his mana returned up again to reclaim his former strength. But despite the fact that his body changed into that of a child, lamentably, his mind was no longer. So in due time the more he spent round Kuroka, the less he saw her as his large sister, but quickly he failed to see her as his big sister anymore. No. He noticed her as a lovely female who gave the look of a goddess to him, one that he wanted to be with and guard at all value, not caring if something had been to take place to him, as long as he were given her and protected her whilst he become best. But years later, while his sisters and he have been rescued by means of him, it went downhill. Kuroka killed their former grasp sooner or later and ran. Naruto thought something was just like this example, and the only among Itachi and Sasuke, so he listened to his intestine, and he tracked her down for approximately a day and a half, after which wondered her, announcing that her going mad with Senjutsu was a lie and that he knew it turned into bullshit. So in the end Kuroka came smooth and advised Naruto the reality of what their so-known as master was making plans on doing to him and Chiron. Whilst she was completed, Naruto turned into livid at what he heard. So Naruto got Kuroka to Kyoto, the capital of the yokai, and made a address Yasaka, the chief of Kyoto, and yokai who became also a nine-tailed fox. Oh, he can bear in mind Kurama pronouncing she won't ever be as powerful as himself and all of the other bull that fox says. In any case, as long as Naruto upheld his quid of the deal, then Kuroka could be offer safety from everyone looking to kill her for her bounty. Earlier than Naruto headed lower back to Chiron, who he left a shadow clone with so she would not freak out or whatever. Kuroka pleaded with him now not to inform Chiron but that she herself would do it when the time is proper, and Naruto agreed after some time and a bit of Kuroka the usage of the pup canine eyes no jutsu. Curse that damn jutsu, his final weak spot. After that Naruto could be visited through Kuroka or the alternative way around whenever they might, which result in the state of affairs therein right now. Naruto and Kuroka are currently cuddling on the mattress in his room at the same time as watching a film. Kuroka is not carrying an unmarried article of garb displaying her beautiful and sexy body in all its glory, whilst Naruto turned into just wearing only a pair of orange boxers. Naruto was laying on his again together with his head resting in opposition to the pillow with his cat ears displaying even as he had both of his fingers wrapped around Kuroka's waist. Speaking of her, even though she became resting her head on his chest along with her arms round Naruto's chest, one on his back and the alternative on his chest at the side of her head. Their legs had been currently tangled together in conjunction with each of their tails. The two tails from Naruto, one white and one black, have been interlocked with the two black tails from Kuroka while they simply cuddled at this point, deciding on to ignore the movie and handiest recognition on each other. So how turned into your day these days, Naya? Kuroka requested at the same time as transferring her hand in a circle on his abs, resulting in him purring occasionally, something that she usually loved to listen from him. It was typically following / stalking a stupid date that resulted in Rias getting a new member for her peerage, Naruto said while scratching Kuroka behind her feline ears, resulting in that horny purr from her that he loves to hear more than anything within the global. What is the overall story, Naya? Kuroka asked, looking to realize the entirety that happened so she will be able to hold a watch on her little brother / lover and her little sister. So Naruto advised her the whole thing that happened, how the perverted boy got requested out via a fallen angel, when they had been alleged to meet, how the date absolutely went, and what happened on the give up of all of it with Rias and them showing up to revive him. She's only a cunning bitch, is not she, Naya? And the worst component is that she has you and Chiron in her peerage, Kuroka said with venom at first before she completed together with her voice filled with worry. Naruto, who effortlessly heard and sensed the concern she had, pulled her near and held her for a few minutes to get her to loosen up. When she became calm again after some time, Naruto grabbed her chin to boost her head up so she will be able to see his face. Then without caution, he crashes his lips on hers and slides his tongue into her mouth immediately, even as he moved his palms to that great perfect ass of hers and groped it. Kuroka then commenced to kiss back, even as moaning into Naruto's mouth. However, her hands are not idle either. No, they had been inner of his boxers, beginning to pump him, getting him tougher and harder with the aid of the second. Naruto realized if this continues up that he will come first, and he can't permit that manifest due to the fact then he could need to do one aspect, Kuroka says, to do without question. It becomes something they made up because they have intercourse loads so the loser could do anything. Just a manner to spice things up. So Naruto rolled her onto her, returned, after which moved his left hand to her proper breast, and started to play with it at the same time as his right hand slowly went down, decrease and lower, as though he changed into teasing her. However, then he subsequently observed his target, so he selected to play grimy, and inserted both his index and middle finger into her, and began to move definitely fast inside and out, hoping to get her to come first. At this factor, Kuroka changed into moaning so loud and having trouble to just hold pleasuring her guy without stopping and letting him take over and send her into an orgasm, crammed heaven. So she decided to play dirty as nicely, she keeps her left hand pumping his member, which became easy given that she ripped his boxers off of him, while her right hand is going to certainly one of his tails and starts off evolved to pump that as well at the same time as also nibbling on his cat ears. OFUCK! Naruto exclaims in shock and pleasure at the feeling he was experiencing in the meanwhile, questioning if he were to die proper now then he could die the happiest man within the whole universe. So knowing he changed into so close to his launch, he tried one ultimate factor to win. He started out to suck on Kuroka's left breast whilst nonetheless groping her proper more or less and fingering her so rapid now that his fingers were just a blur. It turned into only a couple seconds later that they both felt their quit drawing near. Naya-oea/ah, each exclaimed, moaning so loudly that if Naruto didn't put any silencing seals in his condominium, anybody inside the region would recognize what he simply did with Kuroka. Naruto flops down next to Kuroka, who immediately latches onto him, both feeling happy in the meantime. Neither communicate nor make any sound except for the occasional purr from each of them for about numerous moments, each simply content material staying like this. We'll be skipping school for the following couple of days so we can move someplace perfect for our anniversary. I already have someplace in thoughts that is very high quality, and I am certain that you'll adore it as well, Kuroka-ne, Naruto said while simply running his arms through her black silky hair and looking on the ceiling. Oh? Where are we going for our 365 days anniversary, Naruto-kun? Naya, Kuroka said whilst looking at him whilst her head turned into a function to take a look at his face and relaxation on his chest at the equal time. That is a mystery, Naruto stated in a sing-song voice while he winked at her. In comes a lovely/horny pout and go back from her dot, but then Kuroka reaches into her signature kimono that changed into folded next to the bed on a cloth wardrobe, with Naruto's garments and reaches into each clothing. More than 1 second later her hand emerges, but it's far manifestly protecting something. She then opens her hand in which it shows what she become maintaining, that is 2 wedding earrings. Both gave the impression to be very costly by means of the different varieties of jewels in it. This is proper. The two of them, Naruto and Kuroka, were given married nearly a year ago to at the present time. He nevertheless remembers it. It became the previous day to him though. It became their 8-month anniversary of dating, and Naruto took her to Osaka, a huge port metropolis and commercial middle on the Japanese island of Honshu. It is very regarded for its contemporary structure, nightlife, and scrumptious road food. Naruto took her there due to the fact he heard the fish there was delicious, and since he and Kuroka are necocious they obtained a flavor for fish and another seafood, likely towards his appetite for sweets than ramen as it's ramen. Anyways, they'd quite a few fun checking the entirety out that the port town needed to offer, even though they ended it with them on a yacht all to themselves with fireworks taking pictures off inside the air. And one exploded right into a message of "Will you marry me, Kuroka?" She becomes so shocked at first before she grew to become to him, and noticed him on one knee with a wedding ring, but the shock quick turned to finish happiness and pleasure with apparently pronouncing yes 1,000,000 times to his query. That turned into one of the many first-class days in my life with you, Naruto and Naya, Kuroka said while admiring the hoop he offered her. Each day whilst she is with Naruto she is reminded why she is the luckiest girl in the complete world. He just has that feeling that while you are with him the whole lot may be okay, that not anything can harm her while he's around, that the darkness will never make its manner towards her so long as he is there right next to her. Though the names Kuroka Uzumaki and Naruto Uzumaki match us perfectly, Naya. Although I ponder if Minato and Kushina might have loved me as their daughter-in-law, Kuroka stated in the beginning before she got curious and puzzled if Naruto's first mother and father could have welcomed her to the circle of relatives. That's any other element he did. The one man or woman who knew of his beyond lifestyles, the beatings and torture through the villagers as a kid, his time inside the academy, his time in Crew 7, the Chunin tests, the Suna/Oto invasion, the Sasuke retrieval challenge, his education experience with Erosenin, the Akatsuki, Pain's invasion of Konoha in which he met his father, harnessing Kurama's chakra in which he met his mother, the fourth shinobi international warfare, preventing Madara Uchiha, Obito Uchiha, the Jubi, Kagaya Otsutsuki, and in the end combating his high-quality friend/surrogate brother Sasuke for the final time, and bringing him return to the mild before his very own dying, even though that is something to assume and reminisce on at exceptional time and area. Well, I am glad you do just like the ring to our names. And I am certain my dad could have welcomed you with open palms, though Mom alternatively hee. Naruto said with self-assurance at first earlier than it turned to nervously guffawing. He chose the call Uzumaki so he can have something to keep in mind from his beyond lifestyles. Besides, he couldn't do a little things as Naruto Tojo, so he made Naruto Uzumaki. To the world, they're absolutely distinctive people. Also with him frightened about his mother and father reaction to what he has performed in this existence, extra particularly the lover he has claimed in his large sister. Oh, his father might be so happy and tease him a bit approximately their dating. However, his mother would possibly try to kill him and Kuroka because she stated to him to find a female like her. So he become in reality scared because if the ones two met, and were given into a fight with every other, then nothing could be left of the universe because glaringly, the two are nothing alike. In any case, permits get a few sleep so we can head there early inside the morning and feature the complete day to ourselves, Kuroka-chan. Naruto stated earlier, then closing his eyes together with Kuroka and falling asleep, holding every different even as bare as the day they have been born. Time skip next morning knock is what she has been doing for the past little while. Koneko awakened early so she will be able to walk with her Nissan to high school like constantly, and speak to him to make certain he changed into K from yesterday, which caused her standing in the front of his rental door with her normal emotionless expression. But he hasn't answered at all, so after a couple extra knocks Koneko simply rips the door manage off in frustration and stomps into her brother's rental. However, as soon as she stepped via the edge she went completely still as though she become frozen in place with her eyes first-rate huge. It is not the state of his condominium or whatever like that which had her frozen, no, it was the fragrance of her, the one who commenced the complete trouble for herself and Nissan, and the only who abandons them to let them die. Nissan! Koneko screamed in worry, scared past cause and wondering that something took place to her brother. Koneko bolts instantly to his room and opens the door, however sees nobody is there, and smells the scent of her when Nissan is most powerful and right here. Seeing the whole thing is a multitude and in horrific condition, she came to best one conclusion. Kuroka kidnapped Nissan and took him to Devil knows in which. So Koneko instantly created a magic circle and transported herself to the ORC to inform Rias and get assist from her and possibly get help from Sona and her peerage as well. As soon because the light dies down, she sees she is in the ORC clubroom. Fortunately, Rias, Sona, and their respective peerages are all right here. She immediately noticed all and sundry is looking at right here and seemed amazed. She has emotion on her face when Naruto isn't always around. But what she said subsequent surprised and worried them extra. Nissan is gone! Koneko practically screamed. Now anyone changed into on alert on what came about to Naruto. Koneko, loosen up and give an explanation for what occurred please, Rias requested at the same time as conserving the shorter girl's shoulders to stop her from shaking. I visited Nissan's condo to wake him and to look if he became okay from the day prior to this. But he wasn't answering, so I broke the door cope with and walked in. But Koneko stated earlier than going silent, seeking to acquire herself, fearing that she would possibly lose the most effective character simply ever there for her. But what, Koneko? Rias asked with a severe expression on her face, concerned about what takes place to her member of the family, and the only who has usually brightened her day up irrespective of what. I smelled Wani-san's fragrance within the rental and Naruto wasn't there in any respect. This means that Koneko changed into saying earlier than she become interrupted. He changed into kidnapped? Rias and Akino both exclaimed at the same time as broadly speaking everybody else changed into taken aback. Who abducted the loser? Asked a young man with brief blonde hair and gray eyes. He wears the Ko Academy boy's uniform without the blazer and his sleeves rolled up. This younger man's call is Saji Genshiro, a second 12-month student and part of the Scholar Council. The person who abducted Naruto, Saji, is the SS class stray Satan crook Kuroka. If that is true, then this could be very awful. We need to do something, stated a young bespectacled young girl with a slim parent, black coiffure and a bob cut, and violet eyes. This younger woman call is Sona Shirtorai, however her real name is Sona Citri, the subsequent heiress to the residence of Citri. Sona is right, this is very awful. Akino, I want you, Kiba and Koneko to try to discover something that could lead us to them. In the meantime, I am going to inform my brother of this. If she thinks she can come into my territory and cast off one of my family individuals, then she is lifeless wrong, Rias replied with an angry expression on her face. Annoyed that someone can without problems get into her territory and kidnap a person very near her. Dangle, on Naruto-kun, we will prevent. Rias' idea and worry. If she may want to, then she would pray for him to live secure, till they found him and stored him from Kuroka. I will inform my sister of this as nicely. In the meantime, Tsubaki, I want you to help them discover him. The rest of you are to head return for your normal duties till similarly notice. Sona stated before she and Rias both made a magic circle and teleported to the underworld to tell their siblings of what befell at the same time as the one in question that Sona changed into talking to turned into a bespectacled younger girl with black hair that extends all the way down to her knees, with cut-up bangs and heterochromic eyes, with a violet left eye and a light brown proper eye. She turned into presently sporting the Ko Academy women uniform. The four of them then went to search for clues on wherein Naruto can be, whilst the remainder of the student council went lower back to doing their ordinary obligations, all hoping Naruto is okay, now not knowing he is high quality and flawlessly secure. Although they will begin to figure out soon what he has been doing, with none of them understanding with Kuroka. What is going to their reactions be to locating out the truth inside the destiny? Mainly Kaneko's? Who is aware of but the time for its miles coming soon? But with the aid of that time his plan must begin to come into play. So long as Surzex could maintain his quid of the deal, then he would maintain his very own. Quickly Kuroka may be freed from her popularity, and things might be loads less difficult for now. However, the shadows and darkness do now not surrender without difficulty, and could usually try and damage the mild. For wherein the mild goes, darkness follows.